Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I'm going to be continuing with PattyCake Productions' series, The Villain's Lair. Somebody mentioned to me, oh, this is Disney, but it's not a Disney month. You're correct, but this is just too much fun, and if I did this for Disney month, I'd end up doing the entire thing. And that would take up the month. So I'm just going to drop this in piecemeal. Disney month, when it comes around again, will be other stuff. But I'm really looking forward to seeing episode 2 of this. I'm sitting a little far back. Let me just... There we go, that's better. Episode 1, which is called What Goes Around Comes Around. We saw... many of the famous Disney villains all having gathered together, bemoaning their failures, until Dr. Facilier said, well, but what if all those things that happened that gave the people who defeated you an edge never happened? And they all cast a spell over a cauldron, and we ended the episode with everybody cackling wickedly. Which, of course, is ideal. What a wonderful way to end something like that. This episode has a more detailed one. It says, Wicked is relative. The most famous stepmothers of all time share some unorthodox parenting advice. Difficult children will take advantage of your good nature. So if you need some inspiration for those lazy, spoiled, and rotten children, these mothers will walk you through what to do. Happy, quote, Mother's Day. And this was released on May 3rd, 2019, which was 9 days before Mother's Day that year. So, yes, this is called Tough Love. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm excited for it because episode 1 was so much fun. I think this series is going to be something I get a real kick out of, which everybody said I would, and none of you were wrong. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I haven't looked further than that because I don't want to spoil anything for myself before we go in. So I think I'm just going to say welcome back to the channel. Welcome if this is your first time. The way that my channel works, I'm going to watch this video straight through, simply commenting and emoting over the top of it, and then I will go back and pause and interrupt and in a second viewing and offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can. So if you're just here for a reaction, the first quarter or so of this video will probably be good for you. Please do like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I'm inching closer to that 2,000 subscriber mark and I would love to get there. That would be truly fantastic. Do hit the notification bell to be told when I am releasing new videos. That would be fantastic too. And if you would care to, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can support the channel with a donation should you wish to. And I would like to say thank you very much indeed to someone, which is what Buy Me a Coffee says when someone remains anonymous for their donation, and Karina Rodebeck, both of whom bought me several coffees recently, and I'm extremely grateful. Ooh, and I'm throwing my phone on the floor. I'm extremely grateful for that. Thank you to you both. That's very kind of you. I think that's everything I have to say at this point. I will have put a card up by now, surely, but in case I didn't yet, do check up here and you'll see a link to my first reaction, or rather my reaction to the first episode of this series. And if I didn't do already, and I genuinely can't remember if I did or not, I will put it, I'm going to create a playlist so that it'll just be a playlist of my reaction analyses to this whole series. I think that's everything. So, without any further delay, let's watch Tough Love, The Villain's Lair, Episode 2. I love this title card, it's great. Ooh, the sisters. Drizella and Anastasia, right?
Since I was a girl, my only mother vowed I must find a way to power through a noble brow. I married once for love, then my senses came. I must marry for the stature of my husband's name. On to marriage number 2, I knew what I had to do. My poor husband fell ill in a year or 2. Solved problem number 1, now to problem number 2. His doe-eyed little girl with a gentle point of view. Would I ship her off to school? No, I told her if she stayed, then she'd have to earn her keep. And so she became the maid.
She was lazy. She was crazy. She was talking to the mice.
She was naive, so she had to pay the price.
This is great.
I took her to the attic, out of sight and out of mind. I could have thrown her out, but I'm benevolent and kind.
Sure you are.
Your heart's too big for you.
I knew what I had to do. After all, difficult children will take advantage of your good nature. So you lock them up one on every family
Oh, this is great.
Vile too, the things she put you through.
Oh, the voice qualities for the stepsisters are so good.
So they obey. Now they'll do anything you say. Maybe you'd call it cruel, but others would call it love. Tough love. I ask you, is it a crime to strive for perfection in all things?
Oh no, they're so cute when they're little, but then they grow up and just ruin everything. I never wanted children. Life was better on my own. All the screaming, nagging chilled me to the bone. But then one
Oh, I love
day
the mirror
came
in the
across
background.
A flower growing free. Its magic kept me young, so I kept it all for me. But someone dug it up. Now a baby held the power, so I borrowed her and locked her up and hid her in a tower. Years went by. All the sacrifice.
I love the
And against
rhyming
my
in this.
better judgment, I fed her once or twice. Teenagers now I know I wild eat their young, but that's messy. Manipulation's easily more fun. A little love force, of course you have to lie. Remind them that without you they shrivel up and die.
They only had themselves to blame. If you'd been there, you'd do the same. So walk them hard till they fall in line. There's one way and it's only
Oh, this is so good.
children are lazy, spoiled too, but we know what to do. Govern them with a heart of stone. Lock them up so they're all alone. Maybe you call it cruel, but others would call it love. Tough love.
Her own tower with a water view, and she runs away the first chance she gets.
With a water view. That's so
Think the world
great
owes
line.
them something, but it doesn't. Far and wide, I rule the kingdom with a heavy hand. But there was more. I had in mind a greater plan. I never cared to share, so the king would have to fall. But his child blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was chubby, she was dumb, and grotesquely optimistic. She needed structure in her life. She wasn't realistic. I gave her chores and took away the things that she'd enjoy. But then I caught her singing songs with birds, and then a boy. Love? Was I to just sit by and wait for her to take my crown? No, she had sealed her fate. She had to go, and so she did, and you know what they say. An apple once a day keeps your enemies away. Don't be fooled by their tender smile.
Give an inch and they'll run a mile.
Ooh, nice key change.
Our idea of a happy home is one where we live all alone. Dark, depressing, desolate. Now let's all drink to that.
Call us wicked, call us mean.
Cruel and
Okay.
everything in between. You could say it's unjust, turning their dreams to dust. This is what we call love.
Ooh, nice. Bravo! Oh, that's so much fun. And there we go with our cast. I obviously recognize some of these names from last time around. And then we have the additional voice talents that we have here. Okay, so I imagine a lot of this duplicates what we got. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I imagine a lot of this duplicates what we have in the description, so let's have a look. So written by Tony and Layne, of course. And lots of things done by them as well. Brianna and Rick doing the makeup. Excellent work. Again, this is so well done. The makeup, the costumes, everything is so accurate. I'm really, really impressed with what they do here. The wigs, too. Now, here's a new one. The flashback art, Leonardo King. I really like that art style. That was great. We'll obviously have a look at that as we go. The magic mirror prop in the background. Yes, love that. Lots of people, and then we go into, yeah, there's the all the people doing all the different things, and PattyCake Productions, of course. That was great. I love. I'm just going to go straight back to the beginning because there's so much in this that's so much fun, and I was just about to start basically giving an analysis over a blank screen. That was excellent. I enjoy the fact that we're a little bit more focused now. It was really nice meeting everybody, and I love the idea that for the next few episodes we're going to have a little bit more focus on sort of a smaller group of characters, rather than I think we had 10, maybe, or something in that region, which was great, but we get to really see what these actors are about, what the stories of the characters are about, and I think that gives that's going to give a lot of insight into the story that goes on here, because obviously we have a continuous story, which is something I haven't really looked at before on this channel, because I'm looking at individual songs. The closest I've got to that was My Mother Told Me in Valhalla Calling by VoicePlay, which is a very different kettle of fish. Whereas here we have an episodic thing that leads on point by point by point. Now, obviously, we haven't gone straight on. We don't see Dr. Facilia's plan coming into being in this particular episode. We're seeing a different perspective. But I enjoy that. I like that we're getting to see inside the frustrations and the perspectives of these characters on their wards. That's just a lot of fun. It's something different to look at. We're used to seeing things from the perspective of those trying to escape these characters, and so it's fun to dig into the mind of the villain, which is obviously what this series is going to do a bunch of, and I am here for it. So, without any further delay, let us go back, and I'm going to see what I can dig up. This is going to be the first video in a long time that I don't stop within 3 seconds, because I've already talked about the title card here. And you can see that in my reaction analysis of the first video. And if you're watching this one first, hopefully you've just tripped across my channel, because if not, go back and watch the first one. Anyway, here we go. So right away we get the same set that we had in the last episode. This set is excellent. I said it last time, I'm not going to go on about it, but it's just such a perfect setup for this scene. And what I didn't really talk about, I talked about a lot of the lighting, like we had people in slightly warmer lighting, there was a lot of cold lighting, which we're getting again here, particularly on Lady Tremaine and Anastasia and Drizella. But I really like how the fact that we have these candles and lights on the table, which are quite white. A candlelight would normally be fairly warm. I don't know if that's been deliberately upticked slightly in post, or if they really were that bright, but that's nice that we're not getting warmth in the center of the table, because we shouldn't, but we are getting it on the edges with these lanterns. But I love the placement of this window behind the Tremaines. That blue light coming in through there gives us this cold glow that we really want to see, and it plays so well with what's going on screen, and I just like that we have warmth, cool, warmth. Like, there's a really nice balance of light in this set. And I sort of identified the lighting itself, but not really the way that the set works with it. And I think they've done a fantastic job on that, and putting it on the long side of the table as well. So it gives us this ability to have a focal point in the center that has this cold, and we can see some cold light on the Queen and on Mother Gothel, but it's not as prevalent. Whereas the Tremaines, all three of them, they kind of have the, Lady Tremaine has a lovely blue hair light going on, and I'm sure some of this is coming from the top too, but the effect of it coming from that window. And then Drizella and Anastasia having, these little bits on the shoulders, on the bow. There's lots of little lighting elements that are at play here, and they're all coming together to form this really nice, involved scene lighting-wise, and I really appreciate that. So that is my the bulk of my lighting ramble, but I just think it deserves mention, because they've done a really, really great job making this scene look as alive and realistic as they have done, and I really appreciate that. What a great way to begin. These lovely, and there's very slight differences in the lettering, but these lovely, intricately written greetings to Mother. And I love that they are slightly different. Like, there's a lot of similarity in the sense that you have this very swirly writing, which is fine. But you can see the curl on the M, this underside curl that's going on here. And if I'm not mistaken, and I might need to put a note, an image here to confirm that, but I think, for example, here, based on the fact that we can see the red of the costume in the background, and one of the I know it's Anastasia and Drizella, I forget who is who, but the blue dress there, this is Mother Gothel holding this one, and I'm pretty sure that thing with the two lines through it appears somewhat in Rapunzel's signature. So I like the fact that they've got elements of that built into these letters. And then, you know, the sniff, obviously it's been perfumed. But it's such a nice touch to open with that. Especially for an episode that came out right before Mother's Day. But the fact that you have these three characters who are eschewing everything that they should enjoy about a daughter sending them, you know, a Mother's Day card. Especially given that if this is the only one Lady Tremaine is holding, presumably Anastasia and Drusilla maybe didn't do that. Or if they did, it's, you know, not right now. They're holding it like it's sort of, you know, some icky thing as well. It's just nice, lovely touches in the acting here, and the expressions of disgust.
Ever since I was a girl, my own mother vowed.
I do like the fact that we have the magic mirror consistently in the background, because it was up on the wall and it wouldn't go anywhere. And it's in shot now, even though we are dealing with a different movie, and that's fine because it's a part of this world, this villain collective that we have here. And there's nothing wrong with having another villain's prop or set piece in shot when they're not around, or when they're in a different shot. It's just, the consistency is lovely. They didn't need to worry about that. They did, and it's great.
Ever since I was a girl, my own mother vowed, I must find a way to power through a noble brow. I married once for love, then my senses came. I must marry for the stature of my husband's name.
Now this is so nice because we have, and it's true for all three of them, I love that we get, it's not entirely sung. You get this sort of beat poem effect going on for each verse before they go into the bridge and the chorus. And it's nice because you get a lot of information. It's been really, really well written. There's some excellent rhyming in this, particularly later in the song. I'm just really, really impressed with what they've done here. And this artwork, the style that they've got here, you capture the characters, you capture the effect of the movies, but in a completely unique style that in no way is, cribbing from Disney's animation style. And yet it's so fully formed, the characters and sort of situations that you might expect. And I love that. That's really good. And there's also, I love the simplicity too in this image of just this snap as the character that she's talking to changes. When she's talking about marrying for position and stature.
Married once for love, then my senses came. I must marry for the stature of my husband's name. On to marriage number 2, I knew what I had to do. My poor husband fell ill in a year or two.
This is really nice too. I like that we get, you get the youth in here as well. You get the stepsisters and Cindy when they're young. That's really nice. It's just, again, nice touch. We're not seeing everything, these flashbacks we are actually seeing a long time ago. And that's really cool.
Husband fell ill in a year or two. Solved problem number 1. Now to problem number 2. His doe-eyed little girl with a gentle point of view.
I love the emphasis that she's putting on this. Doe-eyed little girl with a gentle point of view. As if gentle is such a bad thing. The use of emphasis here is excellent. And that's it with a beat poem. When you're delivering lines like this, it's a patter song actually almost has less emphasis than a beat poem does. With a beat poem, it really matters where you place that weight. And it really it directs the attention towards specific things. And this is just really, really nicely done because we're getting it everywhere it needs to be.
Number 1. Now to problem number 2. His doe-eyed little girl with a gentle point of view.
And it's that slight pull. It's the doe-eyed little girl with the gentle point of view. It's the doe-eyed little girl with the gentle point of view. It still falls in time, but there's just a little bit of push and pull there that gives it. That's what gives it that. She doesn't have to spit the word. And it works with a word that's not. The emphasis could be anywhere in the sentence and it still makes sense. Problem number 2, it kind of falls naturally at the end, but the way that she's just pushed that forward a little bit there is really, really nice. I like that a lot.
Number one. Now to problem number two. His doe-eyed little girl with a gentle point of view. Would I ship her off to school? No, I told her if she stayed that she'd have to earn her keep, and so she became the maid.
She was
The simplicity of that. She'd have to earn her keep, so she became the maid. I mean, and this is another thing that's so good. The perspective that we've got going on here is villains doing what they think is okay and right. She became the maid. No, she became so much less than a maid. But to Lady Tremaine, no, not really. She became the maid. She just became the help. And it's not. I love how this has been written. It's been the perspective that the characters are taking here is really, really nice. And then, of course, the stepsisters have nothing nice to say whatsoever. So they just go off on one, effectively.
Well, no, I told her if she stayed that she'd have to earn her keep, and so she became the maid.
She was lazy. She was
And this is, I like this. This is one of these wonderful things with digital artwork, of
I
course.
told her if she
It would be possible with analog, but much harder.
stayed that she'd have to earn her keep.
The fact that so much of what's here in this image stays the same. Some of the shading, the coloring, the dress.
And so she
Sorry, the dress changes, but like what I mean is the outline of the dress. If I just go very gently back there, where she is standing, this sort of curve that we have here,
and so she
it's more or less the same. Of course, she's wearing baggier clothing, but it's this simple switch of some elements while keeping others similar or the same. And it's such a nice, easy way of having these, snap changes. And I love that it allows for that absolute precision that this style of vocal delivery really warrants. And they've done a great job with this.
became the maid.
She was lazy. She was crazy. She was talking to the mice.
That line is so good. She was talking to the mice. It's great. And I love how petulant Anastasia and Drizella are. Lady Tremaine's so well spoken, simply describing everything that's going on, and they're so filled with rage and irritability and all that. And it's just the characterization of those two is fantastic.
Earn her keep, and so she became the maid.
She was lazy. She was crazy. She was talking to the mice.
She was hopelessly naive, so she had to pay the price. I moved her to the attic, out of sight and out of mind. I could have thrown her out, but I'm benevolent and kind.
And again, there, I could have thrown her out, but I'm kind. I'm kind because I let her stay. No, you're not kind at all. But again, it's through their perspective. Again, very, very, very well written. And I love that. And the pride in her face there. As she's like, oh, I did this for her. I made her the maid so that she could stay, and then I let her. Oh, the characterization, so good. I love the person that's playing her too.
Talking to the mice.
She was hopelessly naive, so she had to pay the price. I moved her to the attic, out of sight and out of mind. I could have thrown her out, but I'm benevolent and kind.
And again, that little touch, but I'm benevolent and kind. It's like, of course I am. What else am I supposed to be? That utter belief that that's true, and that I love that little catch there before she says benevolent. It just really kind of, it puts a little extra weight again on that. And I think, to me at least, emphasizes her belief that that's so obvious. She doesn't really need to say it, but she's going to because she feels good about it. And that's great.
Mother, your heart's too big for you.
The shrill, such a contrast to her voice singing wise as well. And I love that toe. I can't do it, but the growl that she brings in there, you have this one kind of slightly more abrasive quality and one that's just shrieky. This is lovely. They're so grating in the best possible way.
Mother, your heart's too big for you.
I knew what I had to do.
And I love these little bits of cry. There's little bits of catch at the beginning of these words, this little cry tone that's coming in here, that's just kind of giving it this extra level of emotion and involvement in the voice. Really, really nice.
I knew what I had to do. After all, difficult children will take advantage of your good nature. So you lock them up, throw away the key.
And I love that line. Difficult children will take advantage of your good nature. Because the two terrors aren't the difficult children to her. And then that shift, as she switches into lock them up, there's a sudden emphasis and command in the voice that wasn't there before, as if this is just, you're reading off exactly what has to happen. This is how you deal with this problem. I think the way that they've chosen to go about this, I'm just repeating myself really at this point, and I don't need to, but it is really, really good. I think that the entrance there of the additional instrumentation, the percussive elements, the sudden switch to singing from this very sort of pattery beat poem lead up that we've had there, it all works perfectly together. This is just really, really well written.
Your good nature. So you lock them up, throw away the key. There's one on every family tree.
Ungrateful, hateful, vile too. The things she put you through.
Break their
The expression that I think these three, it's such a good choice to start with them, because they can form a trio on their own because of the different voice qualities, and you have this sort of support system that works as the chorus for Lady Tremaine of the two stepsisters really kind of backing her up. And so you can do a lot with this trio, where if Mother Gothel or the Queen had started this, that would have been harder to achieve. And so structurally, this was a really smart idea.
Vile too. The things she put you through.
break their spirit so they obey. Now they'll do anything you say. Maybe you'd call it cruel, but
The simplicity of that. Maybe you'd call it cruel. No, I wouldn't. No, nothing wrong. The detail in this, I love that we had that cutaway. That was so good, because the focus is obviously on Lady Tremaine right now, but it's nice getting those moments of just this stoic, I'm just sitting here, nothing strange is being discussed. What's odd about this? It's great.
you say, maybe you'd call it cruel, but others would call it love, tough love. I ask you, is it a crime to strive for perfection in all things?
Oh no, they're so cute when they're little, but then they grow up and just ruin everything. I never wanted children like that.
And that's so great that we get this in this sort of moment of discourse between the two as the transfer of focus is made. And then Mother Gothel can come in on her beat poem lines, and it's just this natural passover. And this is one of the great things about doing something that's got this really heavy narrative focus, is you can use things like that to move around. You don't have to do it just with cuts and lighting and whatever else. You can actually have it done in a storied fashion. And this is great. I like it.
Grow up and just ruin everything. I never wanted children. Life was better on my own. All the screaming, nagging chilled me to the bone. But then one day I came across a flower growing free. Its magic can be
I love that delivery right there.
chilled me to the bone. But then one day I came across a flower growing free.
A flower growing free. It's just so throwaway. I just found it. There was a flower, and this flower was the answer to everything. Again, it's this focus, and in this case, it's on the prop, the thing, the MacGuffin, the flower, and it's just the throwaway way that she says it completely belies the significance of this flower. And I love that. She just sees it very much as something that is a utility. It's a thing that she uses to be young. That's all it is. There's no significance to it whatsoever. Which, of course, to Rapunzel, it's completely the opposite. But I think the way that delivery is made is such a great insight into her character.
Nagging chilled me to the bone. But then one day I came across a flower growing free. Its magic can be young, so I kept it all for me. But someone dug it up. Now a baby held the power, so I borrowed her and locked her up and hid her in a tower.
I borrowed her and locked her up. This And I enjoy the fact they've actually put borrowed in quote marks in the thing as well, because I think she knows full well what she's done, but that's not how she's going to choose to express it. That is really, really funny. I like that a lot.
Years now a baby held the power, so I borrowed her and locked her up and hid her in a tower. Years went by, all the sacrifice, and against my better judgment, I fed her once or twice.
And I love there the underplay. Villains are so known for exaggeration, and so underplaying. I fed her once or twice. No, you didn't. You kept her alive for years, but there's something about hearing her underplay something is so. It's such an interesting way of looking at things. I did her this little favour, because ultimately it serves me. It's really smart.
By all the sacrifice, and against my better judgment, I fed her once or twice. Teenagers now I know why wild eat their young, but that's messy.
Now I know why wild eat their young. Wow! That's a brutal phrase. That's goodness. I also love this image. What? Hi! On Rapunzel's face in the background. That's really good. I think that everything about this is superb. I think this is such a great portrayal of Mother Gothel.
I fed her once or twice. Teenagers now I know why wild eat their young, but that's messy. Manipulation's easily more fun. A little guilt, a lot of force, of course you have to lie. Remind them that without you they shrivel up and die.
Again there, remind them that without you they shrivel up and die. Very matter of fact, but also a little bit harsher. Just kind of really reinforcing that. This delivery, this vocal delivery is superb. And then, of course, we go into her singing. I also enjoy that, yet again, we're getting the mirror in the background. That's really nice.
Have to lie. Remind them that without you, they'd shrivel up and die. They only had themselves to blame. If you'd been there, you'd do the same. So work them hard till they fall in line. There's one.
That expression on Lady Tremaine's face.
So work them hard till they fall in line.
Just that. Yes, exactly. That's great. Because that's, of course, exactly what she just did.
There's one way and it's only mine.
Children are lazy.
Who is this? What's the random? I guess this is just for effect. Just the random skeleton in the background? Did I comment on that in the previous one? I feel like maybe I did. I forget now. But I just enjoy the fact that that's just there. You know, prop in the background. Somebody stayed there for a very long time. Oh, that harmony is lovely. Is that all three of them? I can't tell. Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really nice. And this is where we start getting a bit more of, because the three of them are now singing, this is where we really get the emphasis of the harmony. We do know what to do. They're feeling really confident now. That line isn't gossip. That line is fact for them. And that's really nice.
Govern them with a heart of stone.
Lock them up so they're all alone. Maybe you call it cruel, but
Others would call it love. Tough love.
Oh, that's nice. That harmony there of love, tough love, of the three of them splitting off there. It's such a simple thing, especially on short notes, but it's really effective having that little split there. And then we get this. I love this line. Her own tower with a water view. Like, the real estate was great.
but
Others would call it love. Tough love.
her own tower with a water view, and she runs away the first chance she gets.
I missed that. We didn't get a tower with a water view, Mother. You shortchanged us.
Her own tower with a water view, and she runs away the first chance she gets.
These wretched brats think the world owes them something, but it doesn't. Far and wide, I rule the kingdom with a heavy.
Oh, that's a nice little touch there.
Owes them something.
Right here, where the Queen starts, there's a dropout of the instrumentation underneath.
But it doesn't. Far and wide, I rule the kingdom with a heavy hand.
And then the bell to come back in. Boom. That's so nice. And there's something about the placement, far and wide. It's showing the expanse, almost. It's giving room to breathe on those words for a second, far and wide. Even though it's on the word wide, it kind of connects to the whole thing. Far and wide I rule the kingdom. And it comes back in on kingdom. Far and wide I rule, given that moment to just live on its own in that space. That's a really, really nice piece of arrangement there.
Them something, but it doesn't. Far and wide, I rule the kingdom with a heavy hand. But there was more. I had in mind a greater plan. I never cared to share, so the king would have to fall. But his child blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was chubby, she was dumb.
Now this is nice. I like the fact that especially while she's delivering the fairest of them all line, she does not have the mirror in the background. That's a really interesting choice. She's always got the mirror in sight. But what's fascinating about that is it means that when we're seeing her, it's not there. That's really interesting. I wonder if that says something about her character, that they've written her to always be able to see the mirror. Interesting.
Would have to fall, but his child blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was chubby, she was dumb, and grotesquely optimistic. She needed structure in her life, she wasn't real.
And this is what's so great about beat poems, is you get the opportunity to rhyme amazing phrases like grotesquely optimistic. I love that. She's chubby, she was dumb, grotesquely optimistic. Yeah.
Chubby, she was dumb,
and grotesquely optimistic. It's such a fun thing to say, to describe something that way. It's such a like grotesquely optimistic. You could only use that phrase from the perspective of somebody who is antagonistic towards the character they're talking about. There's nothing grotesque about optimism. Sometimes it can be a little bit exaggerated, or a little saccharine, or a little bit kind of airy-fairy, or whatever the word is. There's another word I'm trying to find. If I think of it, I'll stick it up here. But there can be something a little bit too cute about optimism, a little bit too positive, sometimes even a bit too energetically so, but grotesquely optimistic. That's a lovely, lovely line.
Oh, but his child blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was chubby, she was dumb, and grotesquely optimistic. She needed...
I love the shock on this. The Lady Tremaine and Mother Gothel just kind of taking this in their stride and empathizing, and yet the stepsisters are so like, she did what? Like the gossip mongers. I love that. That is such great characterization.
To me, and fairest of them all. She was chubby, she was dumb, and grotesquely optimistic.
Oh, actually, to be fair, Mother Gothel, it's only really Lady Tremaine who's being completely calm about it. But I also love, I think this is Michelle Knight, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm starting to slightly piece names together. Her voice for the Queen is perfect. I absolutely love this. There's something about her saying all of this in this character, looking at Snow White in her mind's eye, and laying down all these awful things about her, and she delivers it so very well.
Blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was...
I love the slight mouth. It's not fairest of them all. Fairest of them all. The mouth movement is very subtle, very slight.
So the king would...
Yeah, there's a minimal amount of motion in the face, which I think is perfect. The eyebrows are very expressive. They will curve and raise and all of it, but there's not a lot else going on, and she's keeping it very, very flat. And I think that's a really great way to do it, because it lets the words do the talking for her. And I think she's done that beautifully here.
Have to fall, but his child blocked the way to me, and fairest of them all. She was...
The child is big, and then it comes. There we go. She's being very restrained. She pulls back. A child blocked the way to me, the fairest of them all, and their control is reasserted very quickly.
She was dumb and grotesquely optimistic. She needed structure in her life. She wasn't realistic. I gave her chores and took away the things that she'd enjoy, but then I caught her singing songs with birds and then a boy. Love? Was I to just sing?
I'm just getting so much fun out of the Tremaine sisters' performance here. They're so disbelieving of everything that Snow White has done. It's marvelous.
Joy, but then I caught her singing songs with birds and then a boy. Love? Was I to just sit by and wait?
The gagging in the background, I missed that. The small touches in this are so good.
Singing songs with birds and then a boy. Love? Was I to just sit by and wait for her to take my crown? No, she had sealed her fate.
That's so nice too. This is again this restrained thing. What's the line? To take.
Was I to just sit by and wait
For her to take my crown? No! Would be very easy to do, but for her to take my crown? No! Just,
take my crown? No, she had sealed her fate. She had to go, and so she did, and you know what they say.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to see her transform into the old woman, the old crone figure with the apple at some point in time. That would be kind of cool.
My crown? No, she had sealed her fate. She had to go, and so she did, and you know what they say. An apple once a day keeps your enemies away. Don't be...
That's so nice too. And an apple once a day keeps your enemies away. Very, very quiet, very reserved, very, very matter of fact. That's also, I like how they've written that. Not an apple a day, an apple once a day. Just little additions to fit it into this rhyme so nicely, and the scansion of this sort of beat poem thing going on here. I love this.
They say an apple once a day keeps your enemies away. Don't be fooled by their tender smile.
Give an
Oh, I love that so much. The smile. Just
By their
tender. There's our tonic note right there, and she's gonna go down to there. But the harmony that the instrumentation is playing at the same time.
smile.
Bum, bum. There's a tritone, which is, I've talked about this before, it's the furthest apart you can get between, like if you play the smile, smile, smile is in the middle of those two notes. So you take an octave, it's the furthest apart you can get. And it does a lot of things. It can be very satisfying. It's if you play a perfect cadence, a 5-1, quite often the 5 will feature a tritone. Because the construction of one of the more satisfying chords, if you're going from a dominant 7th to a tonic, you are going to be playing a tritone within that, but the notes around it seal it out. The fact that we have it quite exposed here, because we have this high note being the top of it, and the note that is being sung being the bottom, focuses it out a little and makes it sound a little bit more dissonant than it necessarily needs to, and that's great. Or it necessarily could do, I should say. I think it's a really good choice to use that here.
Don't be fooled by their tender smile.
give an inch and they'll run a mile.
Nice key change too, and I like that they hold it on. It's not run a mile, boom. You don't go in, it's mile. That hold there gives it a little bit more push. And what's nice too is it takes away that concept of let's go up a semitone is, or is it semitone or is it a tone? Regardless, going up. Yeah, semitone. It's a very common device. Hold on a chord that is going to resolve, but then bring it up a semitone and then resolve to the new tonic.
A mile. Our idea of a happy home is one where we live all alone. Dark, depressing, desolate. Now let's all drink to that.
I like that. Dark, depressing, desolate. I love that a different character sings those words. The alliteration is nice. You carry it through the 3 different characters, and then they each raise a different drinking vessel, which is nice.
Now let's all drink to that.
There's something about that I think just speaks to the 3 different characters we have at the table. The Queen drinking wine, Mother Gothel drinking ale or mead or something like that, and Lady Tremaine drinking tea, or at least, by all appearances, drinking so. There's also a water jug on the table. Goodness knows what's in that. Or a carafe, I should say. But I just enjoy the fact that it's not everybody. It would be very easy in dressing this set and putting the props out to make everybody have the same thing, because there's a unity to that is appealing to the eye. Rather than that, they've actually gone for character. rather than for some sort of symmetry to the table. And that is a really good choice, I think. I love that.
Depressing, desolate. Now let's all drink to that. Call us wicked, call us mean,
Cruel and everything in between.
you could say it's unjust, turning their dreams to dust.
Oh, nice note there. I love this. Now we have this lead up to the end where we have, you could say it's unjust, and you think it's going to carry on, but no, turning our dreams to dust. We have that repetition thing leading into the ending. It's a nice thing. We're getting this opportunity to show the different characters having their moments. I think this is a really, really well-structured song for the trio. And I say trio because while Anastasia and Drizella are pitching in, they're not the protagonists of this. They are the supporting characters here.
It's unjust, turning their dreams to dust. This is what we call love.
Aye, that slide. This is what we call love.
Dreams to dust.
Really nice.
This is what we call love. Tough love.
And I like there's even subtle, and this may just be the singers, but I like that it's there. You can actually see Mother Gothel's lower lip vibrating as she puts in the vibrato into her voice, whereas the Queen, for example, is completely still. That the lip doesn't move at all. And I love that we just have different characterizations visible that way. And that might just be how the singers sing, and that's fine. It's adding something to me, at least, in what they're doing here. And of course, the two stepsisters bouncing around in the background. This is... I love this. I am so enjoying this series. It's fantastic. What a wonderful idea in the first place, to actually come up with this idea of doing this whole musical from the perspective of the villains. I know it's been done before. There are musicals out there that exist from villains' perspectives, but there's something about the way this is being done that is really appealing to me right now, and I think they did a great job. Just taking a quick list at the description just to see if there's any other information. Yes, I was right. Michelle Knight, Helena Wise is Mother Gothel, and Andrea Stack is Lady Tremaine. They're doing a phenomenal job, as indeed did Victoria Brandano as Anastasia and Brianna Fogden as Drizella. They did a great job. Now, I noticed that Brianna Fogden is in the featuring the voice talents of. I'm pretty sure she was last time as well, so maybe somebody who's sort of filling in some chorus stuff. I think everything that's here was also in the credits that we saw. Just really great job here. This is really, really well done. I think the way that this has been structured and put together, and the choice of characters is also great. I think having these three sitting around a table from different generations of stories. You know, the Evil Queen is one of the oldest in the book, and then we have Mother Gothel, who was, 2009? That rendition of the film came out? Something like that? When was Tangled? 2010. So we actually have that kind of, we have breadth there. We have different generations of characters, essentially, conversing on this. And I really like that. I think they did a really good job of it. I am really loving this series, and I'm looking forward to just carrying it on as we go. So, yeah, great job. Really, really great job. I hope that you enjoyed this as well. I got a little rambly at one point in there. I hope you don't mind. I think I'm... a little unfocused today for some reason. Just it's been very, very hot recently. You'll notice, actually, I should put a note about this. The fan hasn't stopped going behind me. It's actually warm enough now that we just need to keep our fan on our AC set to on the whole time, because that's the only way to keep our house cool. So I think I'm a little fried, so my apologies for that. It's been very hot, but I hope that I was still able to put some things across and catch your interest and maybe bring some new elements of this to your attention that you might not have seen before. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, because I had a great time with this. This whole series, as I say, I'm going to have a great time with. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to select how often you hear about my uploads. And if you would care to, please do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKreacts to support the channel with a donation, if that's something you would like to do. That's going to be it for this week. I will be back again next week with something different. I don't know what yet. Haven't figured that one out. But I hope that you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, especially you, Frank. Yeah. You. I don't know why I'm doing these pinpoint things. I figure one of these days someone's going to leave a comment going, "Oh my god, were you talking to me?" And I will just laugh because there's something fun about doing this, and I don't know what it is, but there you go. Anyway, take care. Have a very good whatever time it is, wherever you are, whenever you are watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.